Great. So first we have local development with Git. Can anyone tell me what do I mean by local? Local development, what do I mean by local? Local, that means in my PC, okay? It's not on the server on GitHub, it's local in my machine. My machine, we call it my machine BC, or we call it client. So the first point here, you need to learn here the folder structure. I am quite sure you know how to create a folder. So if you are using Windows or Mac or Linux, it's very easy to create a folder. All you have to do, you need to right click and then you can create a new folder if you are using Mac, and that should be very simple. Of course, the folder can contain multiple files, as you know. You know how to open a new terminal? I think that's already very simple. If you are using Windows, you can use Get Bash. Just click on Get Bash. If you are using Mac or Linux, you can just either search for terminal, the easiest way, and voila, I know how to open the terminal. After that, you know how to navigate up and down in the directory using CD. Can anyone tell me what that's supposed to mean? It means that I can go up one directory and I code inside a directory. How can I go inside a directory? Before the CD, do I know what is inside the home here? So I do not know. How could I know what is inside it? LS. So LS stands for list. Of course, for the LS, there is a lot of flags. So for example, there is some file which are hidden. Hidden file always start with dot. So they don't really have a name. Let me show you. They don't really have a name. They have just extension. Because normally each file, let me show you again. Each file, if I say ls, and to show the hidden file, I can just say -a, click. So as you can see, some files are dot. Please, guys, Mohammed. So as you can see, there's some file. Come on, guys. Mute yourself, Mohammed. Thank you. So as you can see, there are some files starting with dots. Those are what we call hidden file. The hidden file, normally we don't see them in the terminal, but if we want to see all the hidden file, all we have to do, we can just add the flag -a for hidden. Now there is another flag I can use. As you can see, I have a lot of flag and I can use, but if I use -l, for example, click, it will show me like in a nice structure. So as you can see here, I can see the permission. I can see the owner here. I can see the group here. Don't worry about that. I can see the size. I can see the date, and I can see the name of the application. So if I use -l, it will just give me just like a table structure. It's just a little bit more organized, like that. Okay, that should be fine. So let's now go inside desktop. So all I have to do just cd desktop. That should be simple. Desktop, voila. Now I go inside white directory. If I want to go up one directory, what should I do? CD up one directory, dot dot, voila. That should be very simple. Let me try to move my terminal so I don't have to swap all of that again and again. Yeah, let me just try to minimize it. Better. Okay. I think that should be my terminal. Just move this one as well. Voila, should be good now. So we know now how to navigate up and down a directory using CD. What is a directory? What is a directory? It's just a folder. Good. List all the content of the directory using ls. We already seen it. View the content of a file using cat. So again, let's try to go inside. So I'm gonna try to go cd inside desktop. Desktop, and I will go inside Mac, inside Hack Your Future. If you know the path, you can type all of it at once. Go inside test. And if you here I'm inside test, let me show you my VS Code. Here inside test, I don't have any file. So let me create a file here. And I will name the file app.js, for example. And here, if I type just console.log for now, console.log, hello world. Now here, I am inside this. So if I do ls, as you can see, I can see my file. Now, what if I want to see the content of the file? All I have to do cat and the name of the file, and voila, it will show me what is the content inside the file. That should be simple. Okay, create a new file using touch. You already know how to create a new file using the terminal. I'm gonna close this terminal. I'm gonna go inside VS Code because VS Code has its own terminal, which will make my life easy. So let's go here, terminal, new terminal, voila. I want to create a file with the name, let's name it index.html, for example. What should I do? Touch index.html. And voila, as you can see, I should have it, voila. That's how we create a file. That should be very simple. To create a folder, of course, we can create make dir, make directory, and I can name it img, for example, voila. Should be simple. Markdown, you can write a document in Markdown with no syntax mistake. What's the problem with the Markdown? Why you did not check this one?
I think it's fault. In general, I know.
Yes, Victoria?
It's fault. It's
yeah,
fault.
yeah. It's
I
okay.
need that.
Yeah, it's
But
okay.
sorry.
No worry, don't worry. So what is Markdown? I'm gonna again repeat the Markdown very quickly, but then again, it's very simple markup language. We use it a lot. So each repo you're gonna build, you need the Markdown file. Why? Because I need to add some description for my repo, any repo I create. So here I can just use touch. It will be super simple for me. Touch. By default, the main markdown file, we call it readme all uppercase, readme, that's exception. And I have readme.md. Of course, I can have different header, as you know, in my markdown here. Normally, I should start with the first header. For example, I can just say hello like that. That's the first header. You will need to try to not have the trailing space. That means after I finish, I should not have any space like that. Voila, as you can see. And of course, there's few extension which will help you to write a better markdown. So if I say markdown, so markdown previewer, GitHub style, and markdown lint. If you have these two extensions, they will help you. Like when I'm writing here, it will show me some warnings, some stuff like that to write simply a better markdown. Is the idea clear, guys? So you can have different header from 1 to 6 or using the pound sign or the hash sign. So you can have 1 for the first header, 2 if you have once the second header, you can have 2 hashtag like that, and you can have 3, you can have 4, 5, 6. But remember, you need to be logical. So you can have the first header, then the second header, then the third header. You cannot have the first one, then the fifth one. It doesn't make sense, right? In Markdown also you can again, Sajid, again. So we have two extensions, Markdown Preview, GitHub Styling, and Markdown Lint. Okay. The second one here in Markdown, we know now how to create different header, but how can I create a paragraph? Well, to create a paragraph, you can write normal English, and if you want to have space, so I can just all the time, I can see my Markdown, I can preview it. So if I click on this one here, it will show me my Markdown as you can see. If I want on a new line, I need to make space like that. If I don't make a space, it will not be on one line like that. Okay, so if I remove the space here, it will be on one line as you can see. But if I want space between the different line, I need to add just a new empty line. That's for the paragraph. Sometimes I need to show some code, for example, JavaScript code or Python code inside my Markdown. In order to do so, I need to use backtick. So one backtick, I need to say 1, 2, 3. And here, depending on the language I am using, for example, let's say I want to add some JavaScript code, so I can just type GS. And here, for example, I can just say console.log. And as you can see, it color everything. Everything is nicer like that. I can just say hello. Voila. Of course, when I do so, notice the extension here. It will give me first line headings. It's telling me first you need the first you need the first header. You cannot just start your Markdown like that. So you need the header. So I can say, for example, my code, and if I type so here, it also show me some warning. Why? Because after the first header, I need some space, and so on and so on. Of course, there is documentation for Markdown to learn. You already been using it for a few days. So you will keep using it until the end of the training. Is there anything in the Markdown you don't know how to use? Is there anything in the Markdown you don't know how to use? So it's simply, that's my code. If I want to have a list, I can have order list on an order list. If it's order list, I can use, for example, like that, milk. I can add two, so that will be an order list. Tea, for example, voila. And if I want an order list, all I have to do, just dash, and then, for example, milk, then dash, coffee, and so on. Remember, remember to not have extra spaces. If you have extra spaces in Markdown, of course, if you have the extension, it will already show you a warning about that. If I want to add an image, all you have to do, you have to add exclamation mark, then you need square bracket, and the square bracket here, no, you need to write some description about the image. For example, my nice cat, which will be the describing my image. I don't have the image now, but remember something very important. All the time here in parentheses, I need to add the relative path. Now the relative path must start with dot. Either dot dot slash to go up one directory, or just dot slash, and here I don't have any image, so I cannot add it. VS Code will help you to do that. If I want to add any link, all I have to do, it's very similar to image, I need to remove this one. And here, let's try to add, for example, HTTP slash slash, it's actually HTTPS slash slash www.google.com. Now, if I click on this link, and of course I need to change the description. It's not my NAS cat, it's just Google. Voila. If I click on this Google here now, as you can see, it will take me to this link, which is Google. If you don't know what's the link, all you have to do, just go to your browser and copy this one. And if I copy this one, it will be the same link as I pasted here. So let me delete that. Voila. And let me add this one. Voila. As you can see, it's the same link. Clear? Of course, if you want to have a table, you need to create table manually. It's annoying, I know, but what can we do? So to create a table, we need to use vertical bars, as you can see, like that. I can use it like that. And then maybe after that, I can add something like that. And here I can add my name. But make sure that everything is aligned. So for example, if I have a next vertical bar, make sure that both of them are aligned. Not one of them here and one of them at the end. Voila. And as you can see, I have nice table here. Because I don't have any headers, that's why it's giving me this warning. But anyway, I think Markdown should be simple now for everyone. Any question about Markdown? Any question about Markdown? Good. Remember, all the time you can Google stuff. It's part of your job to Google stuff. Even if you have 500 years of experience, you need to Google all the time. Because most of the time I Google some silly stuff. I mean, you cannot remember everything. We have a lot of technology and you can't remember everything. You don't have to remember everything, but you just need to know, okay, if I want to, for example, do something, you need to know, okay, there is a way to do it. And all you have to do, you can just Google it. It's fine to Google stuff. Even if you are in the job interview, it's okay to Google stuff. Googling stuff, it's not something bad. It's the opposite. It's a good advantage for you. Because if you Google, if I stuck with a problem, I Google stuff. Then I see how people do try to solve this problem. And after that, I can see their solutions. Then I can try to understand the solutions, then try to make their solution better. And that's what you should be able to do. Okay, VS Code. I think you already know what's VS Code here. Yes, sir.
We can use HTML code inside this script.
Yeah, so there is some tags. Yeah, good question. Normally, away from our repo, because our repo has some rules, away from our repo, there is some tag in HTML I can use inside Markdown. Not all tags, some of them. For example, here, if I want to add an image, I can use the image tag if I want to, like that image. Image tag, take a source, src, and the source here, it will be the relative path. So let's say I have an image, dot slash is the same idea, relative path, img slash cat dot gbg. For example, I don't have the image, but I just add this link like that. Yeah.
Why I can use this
Again.
why the lens for image. I can use this sense inside this code.
The size?
Yeah.
Yes. So
I can use can make
Okay.
heights or width, yeah,
Yeah.
width and height.
So now this is the image tag, okay? The image tag can have some attribute. We're gonna study that in HTML, not next week, the week after. This is what we call the tag name. IMG, it's a tag name for image. Now, this image can have a lot of attribute. We call them attributes. So first, it can have a source attribute, and here I can add the relative path. It could have alt, and alt here it will be just a description. For example, my nice cat or so ever. Also, it could have another attribute like width, and the width here, it must be in pixel. So I can say, for example, 200 pixel like that. And also I could have a height, and height could be 300 pixel or so on. Remember something, not all tag has the same attribute. Depending on the tags, that's something we're gonna learn in HTML. For example, for the image, I have source tag, I have alt tag, I can add width, I can add height, I can add a class. To add a class to it, I can add an ID. But if I come to another tag, let's say I come to div, so that's another tag div, and div I need to have opening and closing tag. For the image, I don't have to have opening and closing tag because it's self-closing tag. We're gonna learn it again when we study HTML or and CSS. But here the div, I need opening tag and closing tag. The opening tag like that, the closing tag, it will be angle brackets slash then the closing tag. Now when I come to the div, I cannot use as the attribute source, for example, like that. Doesn't make sense. Is my idea clear? So depending on the tag, we could have different attribute. We will study that a little bit on when we study HTML. Yes.
A CSS file in the README or no?
No.
You can link it.
No, you cannot have CSS in readme.md. Now again, the readme.md, we use it only to write some description. So we don't really use it to build a website. Later on, when we build our website, we will use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or vanilla JavaScript without any framework, or we can use framework. That's what we are using to build the front end. We don't use readme.md to create any website. It's just to write some description for our repo. Clear? Any other question?
I have a question. You said that we need use Google, but can we use also Chat GPT? And why is that of a good idea, and how to use it perfect? Maybe a special method. I don't know.
Yes. So ChatGPT, it's, as you know, it's an AI. It's very nice. I use it sometime. Actually, I use it most of the time. It's really nice to ask ChatGPT question, but you need to understand something. Do not just copy paste. If you copy paste, you will not understand anything. You can ask ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT to help you to learn, not just to copy paste. Because if you copy paste, that means you're not learning anything. You can ask ChatGPT some question and it will answer your question like that. You can use it to learn. It's very nice tool to help you to learn, but it's very bad tool if you're gonna depend on it just for copy pasting. Yes, Victoria? Did I answer your question?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, great. What else do we have here? So we know what's markdown. We know some VS Code. We already know use it. We can open a new repo in a new opening a repository in a new window. So what they say here? If I go to GitHub like that, and if I go to your class or any other class, it doesn't matter. If I go to the repository here and I go, for example, to group, let's go to group 1, for example, or 2 or 3, or let me create a new group actually. So what I can do, I can go to the template to create a new, should I create a new one? No, let's go to group 3, it's fine. So here what they are saying, you know how to open a repo in a new Windows. Well, I know, that's how we open a repo in a new Windows, as you can see. That should be fine. What after that? Opening the VS Code terminal. Do you know how to open the VS Code terminal? It's very simple. Either you go here and terminal and new terminal, but if you see here, we have also the shorthand here. The shorthand or the shortcut you can use depending on the operating system. If you are using Mac or Linux or Windows, it may be a little bit different. For me, I am on Mac. If I use Command G, it will open the terminal for me immediately, as you can see. Yeah, and if I say Command G again, it will close it for me. It's very beneficial for you to learn this shorthand or those shortcut because they will make you very efficient in your job. Okay, now I know how to open a new terminal in VS Code. You know how to add a new file? Well, of course I know how to add a new file. As you can see, if I hover here, or I can go to File, a new file, as you can see. Voila. Or I can just hover here, as you can see, click, it will give me a new file, and I can name it app.js. Or I can use the terminal to create a new file. Okay, I can add a new folder. Do you know how to add a new folder? Well, it's quite simple. Is that I can use a terminal again and make there, or I can hover here. Notice this one is a new folder. I click on that and I can create a new folder. Should be simple. Add a new folder, deleting a file, deleting a folder. Well, I can use the terminal to delete a file. How can I delete a file in terminal? RM for remove, and then the name of the file app.js, and voila, it's gone. How can I delete a folder? RM again, but here I need to add a flag. What is the flag? Minus R for recursive, img, and voila, it's gone. Should be simple. Okay, preview markdown file. That's mean if I have my markdown here, can I preview it? And by preview it, I mean we like that waffle. It's okay. Good to have some waffle. That's the preview here. So when I click on this one, voila, as you can see, that's what you call preview my markdown. So I can see what I'm writing here, and I can see how it will look like on GitHub. You are sleepy, Daniel? How many hours did you sleep yesterday? How much? 7. I sleep 2 hours only. Okay. But I'm not sleepy like you, huh? Okay. Preview the markdown, that should be fine. Formatting markdown. By formatting markdown, I mean, so of course I can have library. If you remember in your repo, if I say npm run format, it will format my code. But here also I can have this extension, as I told you, markdown, preview, markdown lint. Those will help me also to format my markdown. By formatting, I mean add the correct space, add, so after that I have space. I don't have any problem here. I don't have any trailing here. That's what we call formatting. Of course, in real life, we use Prettier because Prettier is very nice library. We use it to format our code. Is the idea clear? Should be good. Okay, we know how to format our code. Readme.me, you can write a readme files that describe your project. You already did it. In your group project, you already write readme.md and you add we are group, I don't know what. We are following, or we are consist of the following member, and then you add your name. So that should be simple. Using npm install. So can anyone tell me what is npm install? Why do we need to use it? Okay, now I have a new, as you can see, I have a new folder here, test. It's not a repo, it's just a folder. Can I just type here npm install? Do you think it will work if I type? No. Why? So I need to have a file. What's the file name? Package.json. So all the time when I clone the repo, I need to look. If I have package.json, I can just say npm install. So okay, if I do npm install, what npm install we gonna do? Yeah, so it will go inside my package.json. It will install all the dependency and the dev dependency for me, simply like that. So let me show you again. Let me open one of the, I don't have any repo here. I have this repo, voila. Home. So as you can see, because I have package.json, I have dev dependency and dependency. Now that means I can just use npm install or npm I. And if I do so, it will go to package.json here, and it will install all this library for me. Of course, if I have package.json, if I don't have package.json, I cannot use npm. Why? Because I need package.json to install any package. It needs to be stored inside package.json. So first I need to create package.json. Okay, let's go back to my project. Let's say I don't have a repo. Let's say I do not have a repo, and I do not have, let's just open our test. I do not have a repo. As you can see, how can I create package.json? How can I create package.json? What is the command to create a package.json? npm init. So npm init for initialize and minus y. minus y is a flag minus y to say yes to all the question. If I click, voila, and now I have package.json, as you can see. And now here I can install any library I want to. That should be simple. Sorry. Minus y. If I don't use minus y, let me delete it again. If I don't use minus y, it will ask me, see, it asks me some question. What is the package name? And I need to, by default, it will be test. And I really don't want to rename it. So I will hit enter. What's the version? 1.1, yes, the version correct. I enter. Instead of all these enter, I can just add the flag minus y. And as you can see, it's the same result. So minus y, it means yes for all the question. Should be simple. After that, you can use prettier VS Code extension to format your code. So actually, you also can have prettier extension here. So you can add prettier as extension. So if you search for prettier, do I have prettier? I'm not sure if I have prettier or not. Prettier. Yeah, as you can see, I have prettier for the code formatter. You can install this extension and it will try as much as possible to format your code. Of course, you can install it also as a package, but if you install it as a package, you need to add some rules. I will teach you that in detail when we started doing JavaScript, because when we start doing JavaScript, we want to have 4 spaces for JavaScript. For now, it is not that important. Okay, I think that should be simple. You can use npm run format. You remember when you do your home, your student bio or your group project, or both of them, you have some script here. For example, if I go here, I have npm run format check, spell check. So that's what they are telling you. They want to make sure that you know how to run npm format check, spell check, length ls, length md, which you already know all of those, as you know. Update cspell.json. So if I have any word, if I added any word inside my file, if I add any word and I run npm run spell check, like that, spell check. So if I have any new word, let me check. Do I have any new word? I don't have any new word. But what I can do, I can just go to my cspell here and I can get rid of Daniel here, for example. If I do so, if I delete this one and I try to run this command again, it will tell me that there is one name is not recognized. So let's try again. npm run spell check. So as you can see here, I have this name. It will tell me unknown word. What do I mean by unknown word? It means that the C spell, which is a package, does not understand this word. It thinks that it is not English. So how can I solve this problem? Which is quite simple. All I have to do, I can copy this word, and after that I can go inside C spell and I can add a comma, and here I need to use double quote, not single quote, double quote, because that's JSON here. And I can add the word, and after that, if I do so, and now I run npm run format, I will not have this problem anymore, as you can see. I did explain it yesterday, but anyway, that should be good. Okay, identify and follow naming convention. So naming convention, I told you yesterday, in programming, we have different naming convention. And we have actually 4 very famous naming convention. What do I mean by that? Well, let me get rid of this one. Let me get rid of this one here, and let me go to package.json. Now, to name stuff, naming stuff in programming, as I told you, it is very difficult. It's not easy task, actually. We have 4 ways to name stuff. The first one is what we call kebab case. Kebab case. By the way, this is a comment. Can anyone tell me what is a comment? Not commit, it's comment. So a comment, it's some text. It will not be analyzed. So if I now preview my markdown, I will not see it. This comment is for developer. It's for me and my colleague to read. It's not for the computer. The computer will ignore it. We have comment in everything. We in HTML, in CSS, in JavaScript, in any programming language, you have comment. Comment help us to add some description about what we are trying to do. It's for developer, for people to understand what we are doing. Okay, so what is kebab case? Well, kebab case is simple. Let's say I have, I want to name my files using kebab case, file and folder, maybe kebab case. So I can just say sam dash hello dash. So if I have multiple words, I'm gonna connect them using minus or dashes. Hi, name, voila, something like that. Remember, everything should be lowercase. In kebab case, everything is lowercase. And if I have multiple words, I can connect them using minus or dashes. Is the idea clear? That's what we called kebab case. Then we have snake case. Can anyone remind me how snake case work? Okay, so snake case, we use it a lot in Python. Also, we use it in C. We can use also camel casing in C, but we use it a lot in Python. For example, I can use the same name, Sam. It will be underscore, hello, underscore, hi, underscore name. Voila. All of them also lowercase, but I'm not using minus here. I'm using underscore. And that's very important. After that, we have camel casing. We will use a lot camel casing, camel casing or case. Camel casing, we use it a lot in JavaScript. We use it in Java. We use it in C Sharp. We can use it in C. So we can use it in a lot of places. So what is camel casing? The camel casing, the first word start with lowercase. If I have multiple words, as you can see, and each other word, it will start with uppercase, as you can see. Hi, name. Should be simple. We also have something called Pascal case. So Pascal, sorry, Bas, Pascal, Pascal case. So if I use Pascal case is very similar to camel casing, but even the first word also start with uppercase. So I can copy this one here, voila. And now I need just to change the first letter and make it like that, and voila. So that's for different naming convention. We use it in programming. To name files and folders, most of the time we use kebab casing like that. For snake case, we use it a lot with Python and C, as I told you. Camel casing, we use it with JavaScript, with Java, with C Sharp, and so on. Pascal casing, we use it a lot also in multiple different languages. We use it also for Java, JavaScript, C Sharp, but we use it to name our classes. You don't know what's class now. We will study it later when we study JavaScript. Is the naming convention is clear for everyone? So before you build anything, you will have like a meeting, team meeting, and then you need to agree. For example, if you were gonna name your branches, you need to use one convention. If you're gonna name your file, you need to use one convention. If you're gonna do some, I don't know, you create something, you need to use the same convention. It doesn't make sense. It's not professional to see a group that one of them using camel casing and the other one use snake case and the other one use kebab case. It will give me an idea that this team did not agree on some convention. Yes, great. Time is it? After 10 minutes, we'll take short break. Okay. I know that, so now we can use that file extension. You can write the markdown file without looking. Yes, we've seen this one. So what the hell is extension? Now my question here is, I have two files here. One of them is JavaScript and one of them is Markdown. How could I know which one is Markdown and which one is JavaScript? So from the extension here, because the JavaScript extension.
Get status or
No, but my question, how could I know this is JavaScript file?
final for line.
Yes, the extension. So each file has specific extension, and this extension tell me something. So if the extension is JS, that means JavaScript. If it's MD, that means Markdown. If it's HTML, it's HTML. If it's CSS, it's CSS. If it's PY, it's Python. If it's Java, I know it's Java, and so on and so on. If it's C, I know it's C. If it's CPPs, I know it's C++, and so on and so on and so on. You don't have to remember all these extensions, but you need to know, for example, how can you differentiate between index.html file, CSS file, JavaScript file, and so on. Should be simple. So the first part here should be easy now. I think we cover everything here. Any question about the first part, local development with Git? Any question about local development with Git?
Can I ask you something?
Mhm.
When I have some file, some folder with, for example, JavaScript or HTML,
Mhm.
and I use some program for convert it to another
File?
file. The program working will change the language inside this folder to another, or
No, nothing is gonna change. So if I have let's see,
how can I have a JavaScript file and then I change the name for description and
yes, I got it. But listen, now I have JavaScript file here, right? I have some code. If I turn it to Python, I think that's your question, right? If I name it now, here comes the extension and I name it py, you are asking me, will it work or not, right? It will not work because here, as you can see, this is not a Python syntax.
yes, but when there are some program I can convert.
Yeah, that's special. So some program, if they are working with different extension, yes, that's okay. But now in what we are coding here, if I have some JavaScript code, it will not work with Python because the syntax is different.
When
So
I use this program,
some program,
change
the extension.
the extension.
If the program allow you to do, it's not a problem. If the program can be able to run with different extensions, that's fine. But in my case here, if I have JavaScript syntax, I cannot run it to py. Let's rename it again to JavaScript JS. Fine. Now local development with Git is a lot of Git commands, so I am suggesting to take a short break because I see Emilia and Danielle, they are just warning a lot. So let's take a 15-minute break, and after that we will come to continue. Okay, Victoria, 15-minute break, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Recording. I'm going here, and now we finished the first part, which was local development without Git. Let's go here to local development with Git. Also, local development, that means it will be on my own machine locally, because I need to use Git locally, Git add, Git commit. Then I need, when I push my code, I'm pushing the code to the server to GitHub. Is the idea clear? So first, Git init. Can anyone tell me what is Git init? What is Git init? So I have a command called Git init. Can anyone tell me what is Git init? So when so if I don't have a repo, now here my folder, it's not a repo. So if I did not create, you have two ways. Either you need to create a repo and clone it. If you do that, Git init, it will be automatically done for you. But sometime I have a project here, I have a folder here, but I don't have a repo. Can I create my project, then I can push it to GitHub on a new repo? Yes, I can. So in order to do so, I can tell Git, please start tracking this folder. I can just say Git init. And if I do so, notice now Git is tracking my changes now. Remember, this repo does not exist on GitHub. It's local here now. So I can just use Git init. If you create a repo on GitHub and clone it, you don't need to do Git init. It will be automatically done for you. But in this case, I don't have this repo on my GitHub account yet. Fine. So I just say Git init, that's fine. That's the first command. What is the second command? Git add. What is Git add? Can anyone tell me what is Git add? To add my changes, but first I need to check what change do I have. How can I check what change do I have? Get status, it will show me that I have one file, two file, third file. Did I create this file? Okay, I don't want this file. I don't want Git to track this file. What can I do? Ignore it. Can I create a file here to ignore this file? Yes, what do we name? What do we name it? Git ignore. So if I say Git ignore and I add the name of this file here, now from now on, Git will try to ignore this file. Sorry? Yeah, it's just it's extension actually. That's hidden file. So as you can see, I'm starting with dot. Dot get ignore. This file has no name. It just has an extension. It's hidden file. So if I do get status again, yeah, but this one here, I need to add it here already. Actually, I did add it. Configuration formatting. Let's try to refresh, reload. And if I reload, I still have this file which I created. So now I should have 3 changes, get status. Yeah, so what it's doing here, as you can see, I don't have any more .ds_store. So before I added this one, because I've added this one to get ignore, I don't see this file here anymore in the changes, because this is my way of telling it, please do not track this file. And of course, I need to add this .ignore to my repository. I need when I need to push. Let's create some other file. Let's say, for example, I have a file which is called test.js, and now I want to ignore test.js. So in order to ignore it, in order to tell get don't track this file, I can add it here, test.js. And now if I go to the changes, notice here, if I say get status, it does not show me this file, as you can see. And the color of this file, as you can see, it's kind of gray. That means it's not being tracked. Why? Because I added to the .get ignore. Is the idea clear? Okay. We know now what is get ignore. We know what's get status to check what change do we have. How can I add my changes? Well, let's try to add the changes here. So I can just say get status again. And now I can add all my changes. I want to add this one, and this one. Why? Because the thing I don't want, I just added them to .get ignore, say ignore. So let me add all my changes. Now, because I know all of those are my changes, and I want to add all of them, I can just say get add dot. But you need to be careful with this command. Why? Because if there is some changes which are not yours, you should not add them. You should add them by the name of the files. You can just say get ignore like that, and then space readme.md and space app.js, which will be lowercase app. Voila. Voila. And that will work as well. Now, if I say get status again, as you can see, now they are in green. What's that supposed to mean if they are in green? That means they are being added to staging area. What is the staging area? Yes, it's a place where I can add my changes before I push it to GitHub. Okay, now if I want to remove some files from the staging area, what should I do? So as you can see, Git is very smart. Git is telling me if you want to remove any file from the staging area, you can use this command, which is get remove --cache. You need to use --cache. If you don't use --cache, it will delete your file from your laptop. You cannot see it anymore. It will remove it totally. So in order, let's try to remove app.js from the staging area. So what I can do here, I can just say get rm for remove. And after that, I need to say --cache. That means don't delete it, please. Just remove it from the staging area. Cached and the name of the file. What is the name of the file? app.js. If I do so, and I go get status again, as you can see now, this one is red. That means it's not being added, it's untracked, is not being added to the staging area. And if I have a look at this one here, it's U, that means it's untracked. But this one A and A, that means it's being added to the staging area. Clear?
Find same action, but I don't know what's the difference between get rest head.
What's the difference between?
This line, get rest head, and the name for file is also for delete.
Again, because I did not hear you. Sorry.
Okay. And now you told us when I make some add and I want to delete it, I use.
I'm not deleting it. I'm removing it from the staging area.
Okay,
So again, let me show you. Those are now in the staging area. Why? Because they are in green. This is not in the staging area. So I can add file to the staging area, or I can remove them from the staging area. But if removing them from the staging area doesn't mean deleting them. But if I want to delete the file, I can just delete the file, and voila, it's gone. It's not a problem. But here, if I remove a file from the staging area, it doesn't mean I want to delete it. No, it means I just want to remove it from the staging area. Let's try to remove readme from the staging area again. So I can use the same command, and here I can just use readme.md. Now, if I don't use dash dash cache this flag, it will delete my file. That's a bad idea. That's not a good idea. And as you can see, is that? No, the staging area is in the memory. So let me just share my Excalibur draw. Guys, you need to understand.
Still in my PC, my local gateway,
It's fine. It's fine. Just relax a little bit, please. Those are, let's say, this is my folder. My folder here, or my project, if you want to call it. So that's my folder here. Go away, please. This is my folder. Let's say I have file 1, I have file 2, I have file 3. 1, 2, 3. Now those are inside. So those are here, as you can see. Those are here. I did not add them yet to the staging area. If I want to add them to the staging area is just another place in the memory. So I can add any file I want to the staging area. And also I can remove it from the staging area. But if I remove it from the staging area, doesn't mean I want to remove it from my folder. If I want to remove it from my folder, I can use the command just as we learned, rm, remove, just remove, rm. So remove, if I want to remove test, I don't want it anymore, I can use this command and it will delete it from my machine. It will not go to the pen here. It will delete it directly. It will delete it directly from my PC. So if I say test like that, it will delete it from my PC. It will not go to the pen here. But sometimes I don't want to delete the file. I just want to remove them from the staging area. If that's the case, all I have to do, I need to just say dash dash cached. Dash dash cached does mean please do not delete them from here, just remove them from the staging area. Clear? Yes? Okay. So the staging area is just a place in the memory where I can add a lot of files before I push them to GitHub. You may tell me, why do I need to do that? Well, because each time, if I don't have the staging area, each time I make a change, I add a change, I need to push. And that will become annoying. So the way here Git work, okay, I can add my changes, I can commit my changes, it will be in the staging area. I don't want to push them. I want to have a lot of changes, and when I'm happy with everything, then I'm say git push. That's the job of the staging area. Clear? Okay. You know how to commit your change, right? So let's see, how can I commit my changes? So now I add just .ignore. Let's add also all of them. I'm gonna add all of them to the staging area. If I add everything to the staging area and I say get status, everything in green. If I want to commit my changes, remember something. All the time when I add my changes, I need to commit my changes. It's not something that optional. No, I add my changes, I need to commit them. So get commit, and here get commit, I need to add a flag -n4 message, and this message should be English. So it should be just sentence in English. For example, add app.js file. Or maybe normally when it is the first commit, we name it just initial or initial commit. Initial commit, that means it's the first commit. Click. Now, if I do so, notice I don't have the changes anymore here. So before I had 1 or 2 or 3, now I don't have them. Why I don't have them? Because I committed my change, everything is fine. But remember, they are still not on GitHub. They are still not on GitHub. I've added them to the staging area. I committed them. They are in the staging area, but they are not on GitHub yet. Should be okay. Get log. What is get log? Can anyone tell me what is get log? So it will show me the history, the log of all my comments. So if I say get log, it tells me, as you can see, I have one comment, initial commit. That's what I did now. Who created it? Or this guy created it with his email. What was the date? January 16. At this time, this guy make a comment, and this comment, the message is initial commit and blah, blah, blah. So get log, it will show me all the comment, log of all the comment I did in my repo. Okay. Which is get log?
There are some code for comment. I can use it.
This one?
Yeah.
So that's what we call the unique ID. So each comment has a unique ID. I can use this comment ID to go back in time. So let's say I have one change, I commit my change, then I commit as a second time, third time, fourth time. Now, fourth time, I want to go back in time to the second one or the first one. So I can just say get revert, and I can use this hash ID to go back in time. It is very important, this one. Which message is the one I committed? It's here. Initial commit. So the message is down. So each commit has a unique ID. It's, as you can see, it's a very long string with number and letter. Then the author, the date, and the message I wrote here. Cool. We know now what is get log, which is very nice, but we have something called get branches. So what I can do now, before I do get branches, let's try now to push this code to GitHub. But I do not have a repo. What should I do? I have my code here. I don't have the repo. What should I do? So what I can do, I can just to go to my GitHub. And now let's go and create the repo. Let's name the repo test. I can just say dot. And here I will choose the owner, me. And I will name it test. And here I will not add anything. Just I will map public. And I just create a repository. Now, when I create the repository, if I scroll down here, it's giving me some instruction. It's telling me if you already have a repo, which I do. I already have a repo, actually, as you can see here. I have this code. So it's telling me if you already have a code I want to push here, please copy this command. So what I can do here, I can come, copy this one, voila. Go here, paste it here, as you can see, and go here, copy the second and the third command, or I can just copy both of them at the same time. Go inside my here, paste it here, voila. And now, as you can see, it will push my code to this repo. If I go here to my repo, first I need to know where's, voila. If I refresh, magic. See? So you have two ways to work. You can work locally, then push it to GitHub. I don't think that this way is suitable for beginners, so it will always be for you a good idea to create a repo and clone it. That should be easy. Fine. We push our code here. Now we need to learn how to branch stuff. So the first question is, why do I need branches? Okay.
It continues your branches that you create. So then it will always, originality will always stay in the main, and your branch will always make changes when you push it.
Okay, good. When I create a repo, how many branch by default I have? One. What is it? Main or master? Okay, it's the same. It just means the old master is the old name, main is a new name. So by default, I have one branch called main. Now, what if I want to build a website title? This task is assigned to me. There is an issue, it's assigned to me. Now, whenever we are coding, we have two possibilities. Either I will be able to code, or maybe I will have some problems. So it's always a great idea not to code on main all the time. It's a good idea to create a branch. And let's say branch one. When I create branch one, I will have all the code in main. By default, I will have everything. And then here I can add my code, add my code, add my code, add my code. I will test it. If I'm happy with it here, if I'm happy with it, I will keep it now. If I'm not happy with it, can I delete it? If I'm not happy with it, can I delete it? No, not the main. The branch I created, B1. I can delete it. So is there any connection after I create the branch between B1 and main? Is there any connections that are related? They are not related. And that's why you make the branching powerful. Because when I have my own branch, I have the initial code. I can now add whatever I want to. If I make any mistake, I can just delete the branch simply. So it will not affect the main branch. The main branch always it will be for the final product. Everything is working. So I should not add code to main branch. Okay, now how can I create a branch? So the command is get branch, the name of the branch. And then if I want to check out, I will say get check out my branch. But I can do both steps in one step. What is the command? Get check out. So get check out minus P, and let's say sum here. So what is this command here? This command, it will create a branch for me and it will check the branch. So it's two commands in one. If I click on that, notice it create a branch for me and now it switched to sum. So before we use this command, get branch, and then add the branch name, let's say sum, that's the command one. And then we had after that second command, which is get check out sum, right? So we have two commands here. But I can do both steps in one command, which will be this one, get check out minus B for branch, and the name of the branch here. It will create a branch for me, and also it will check out the branch. Okay? Any problem here? And if I want to check my branch, so I can just say get branch. Just get branch, click, and as you can see, it tell me now I am in sum. I have sum and main. That should be okay. Let's go here. So now we know how to commit our changes. We know how to use get log. We know how to create a branch, check out a branch. And as I told you, this command here, I don't have to use these two commands actually. I can use only one single command here, as you can see. We have something called get merge. I don't want you to use get merge. Why? Can anyone tell me why I should not use get merge? Okay. We have two types of merge actually. We have local merge, and we have on GitHub we can merge. So when I make a pull request, I can merge the pull request in main. And I can do it also locally if I want to. But notice what will happen. Let's say now that's my PC, my computer here or client. This is GitHub. GitHub like that. Now the normal way we used to do it here, if I have the main branch, that's main. Then what I need to do, I need to create my own branch from main, let's say B1. I will add my code. And after that, if I'm happy with it, I will add my changes, commit my changes, and make a pull request, right? Make a PR. Now, when I merge the pull request on the main on GitHub, that's what we normally do. So here, this merge is being done on GitHub. But also what I can do, I can merge this one B1 inside main locally. But should I do that? So on my machine here, if I go here, as you can see, I have two branches. Let's check out main again. Get check out main. Now I can merge the branch sum, I can merge it on the main. But should I do that or not? Why? Why did I create the branch in the first time? Why did I create the branch? So I can add my code away from the main. But if I say get merge, I'm taking the code and merge it to the main locally, and that's what not I want to. I created the branch so I don't work on main. So locally here, I have two branches. I've created this branch from main because I want to add my code to it, everything here. But if I merge it to the main, it's like I did not do nothing here. I just add my code to the main again, and that's something bad. You get the idea? So the merging all the time should be done on GitHub, not on my local machine here. Because if I do it on my local machine, so it's like, what's the point? Why did I create the branch in the first place? Okay. So what we're going to do here, we will do the merge just this way, the way we learned here all the time. On my branch, I will add my code. If I'm happy with it, I will add the change, commit the change, push my change, then make a pull request. And when my colleague review my code, they will merge it to the main, simply like that. Okay, after that, what do we have? Get log we've seen, get stash, get pop. Yeah, I need to teach you what is get stash. Those are some extension for VS Code, get graph, len extension, explains the file tree in VS Code, atomic comment. Atomic comment, that means when you write a comment, they must be not very long, they must be to the point. For example, when I created my bio, I say just add Ahsan, for example, bio. It's very short, it's to the point, it's not very long, and everyone read it can understand it. That's what we call atomic comment. So your comment all the time must not be very long, not too short, but everyone should understand them. Future branch, that's fine. I need to explain just get stash for you. Okay. Let's say, just to explain get stash for you, let's say I have some changes here. I will make some changes in main. Of course, I should not do that, but for now, let's make some changes on main. So I can create a function here, say hello, and I can add this one. As you can see now, I have some change on main. Now, when I try to switch to another branch, let's try to switch to Sam now, get check out Sam. It will tell me something. It will tell me, no, actually, it will allow me to do so here. So sometimes when I have changes, it does not allow me to switch. It will tell me why, because it will tell me you have some changes. You need to somehow to commit your changes. But what if I don't want to add my changes now? I can somehow hide my changes if I want to. Can I hide my change? Yes, I can. So let's just get check out main again. I add this change here on main. If I want to hide my change temporarily, I can just say get stash. Get stash, what's going to do? See, if I say get stash, the change is gone. It's not deleted, it's gone. So stash is my way to hide my changes. Because sometimes if I say get pull to get the changes, it will not allow me. Why? Because it will tell me you have some changes here. So there is a way to hide my changes temporarily. And after that, if I want to show my changes again, all I have to do just get stash, apply. And I have my change again, as you can see.
Like a comment for my group.
So it's
It's
just
saving
a
my screen, but it's a
it's just a way to hide my change to hide my changes in one place, and when I need them, I can just show them again. So get stash, it will take all your changes and it will hide them. A get stash apply, it will bring the changes again. Because sometimes if you are working in a group, I think you already see this one. When you are working in a group project and you try to do get pull, it will not allow you to do it to get pull because it will tell you you have some changes. You cannot do that. You need to add and commit your changes. But what if I don't want to add and commit my changes? I can hide my changes. So just say get stash, it will hide my changes. Then I can say get pull. Then if I want my changes again, I need to say get stash apply. Remember, get stash, I cannot do multiple get stash. I can do it only one time for the latest change. So if I go do get stash like that and I make other changes like that and I do get stash again, it will only save the latest get stash, the latest change. So I cannot all the time just say make changes, get stash, make changes, get stash, make changes, get stash. No, I can do it only one time. Get stash, it will hide the change. And then if I want to use them back, I will just say get stash apply. I'm sorry? Let's try to do it together. So now this is my change, okay? That's my change. As you can see, I have one change. Let's do get stash like that. And now let's say when I do get stash, my change is gone. Let's add more code. You shouldn't add more code actually. If you want your changes, you need to get them back. But let's say I want to add more code here. I can add a function, blah like that. And then I also say get stash again. If I say get stash again, did I say get stash? So get stash again, and here let's say I add more code, and I say get stash again, Now let's try to do now get stash apply and to see what change it will give me. Get stash apply. So as you can see, it just give me the latest change I made. It does not give me my function.
Stash, what you do is a undo and redo. So if you do.
Yeah,
get
yeah,
stash,
yeah. You can imagine it this way.
then
Yes.
file-
Yeah.
file.
It's just imagine it this way. You have some code. When you do get pull or something like that, it will not allow you. So I need to hide this change temporarily. I will just say get stash. It will hide them. But you should not use get stash multiple times. So if you use get stash, you need to use after that get stash apply to get back the changes. Because if you say get stash, get stash, get stash, as you can see, I did not get my function back. Where is my function? So what's happened when I did get stash the first time, it saved my function. But when I say get stash again, it will take the new code, I change the new change, and it will put it inside the function, it will remove the function. So I will lose my code. So do not do get stash and then get stash again and get stash again, because here it will only save the latest change here. And that's not what I want all the time, okay? We will not use get stash a lot, but sometime when you get a problem, especially when you are working with your group, we will see get stash more.
One and it's the same name, they're gonna have a conflict.
Again.
For example, I stated a file called GS, and I can someone's changes, and the changes contains also file named like this. And what happened when I return a stash file?
Okay.
There will be no conflict.
Will be a conflict.
Let me show you. Okay. For example, this there's this file, yeah? Not this one, this is name. But if after I pull someone changes, there is a file with the same name. So what's gonna happen when I return from stash is this file? There will be two files with the same name, so.
No, it will. You will have a conflict if you do so.
Okay.
You will have a conflict
Yeah.
because you cannot have two files with the same name.
So how can I resolve that conflict?
This conflict, you need to resolve it. Here, it will just show you in VS Code that you have a file with the same name. So what you can do, you can rename one of the file, and then if you are stashing, then just get stash apply, and it will get back. So you can rename one of the file.
Excuse
That's the
me,
easiest
but can you use, in this case, you cannot use slash, to like delete it, I know. You need to use number core.
But you can use get stash all the time, but what you're going to do is hide your change. When you do get pull, so what Simon is saying here, let's say I do get stash here, I save my changes, but get stash here, it will not hide your file, it will hide only the changes, right? Only the code you add. And if I say get pull and I have a file with the same name, I will have a conflict in VS Code. I need to resolve the conflict. If I resolve the conflict, then I can say get stash apply and I will get back my changes.
Practically, what happens normally, sometimes we need to check without this function how it works, and then we test again the function with this function, the program how it works. That's why we need that need slash. Like one function, sometimes we are recording. Okay. So I put make one function to do underworld. Okay. So because without this function, how it works?
No. Get stash. Let me just explain it a little bit more. Guys, get stash.
Remove the code.
Get stash is not really for functionality or anything. Get stash, sometimes let's say you are group working on a project. If you do get pull to get the changes, get will not allow you. Get will tell you you already have some changes. Please add your change before do get pull.
Okay.
Let's say I am not ready to add my change and commit my change. I'm not finished. So in this way, it's just a trick to hide my change temporarily to do get pull and then get stash apply to return my changes. That's the most use case for get stash. So get stash is just only to hide my changes just temporarily until I be able to do get pulls. That's it. It's not to hide code or anything, no. The idea is just to hide my changes so I will be able to execute another command. Because if you have some local change and you do git pull, Git will not allow you to do so because you have some changes locally, and when you do git pull, you will have some changes from GitHub. So you will have two changes. Git is get confused; it cannot do that. So it will tell you, please save these changes, commit these changes, so I can git pull for you. But that's not what I want to. If I don't want to commit, I can just say git stash to hide my changes, git pull to get the changes, and git stash apply to bring back my changes again. Is the idea clear?
Yeah.
So that's the most use case for git stash.
Do I get it right that we need to do stash only before git pull?
No, you can use it anytime you want to, but you should, how can I say? Sometime when you type some command, and we will see that in the project, when you type some command of git will tell you, please save your change. Please add your change to the staging area. Git will tell you that. I cannot do this command if you did not save your changes. So if Git tell you that, and you don't want to save your change, you don't want to add your change, you can just stash it. So it's not just about pull requests. Sometimes if you want to switch from one branch to another, Git will not allow you. Will tell you, you already have some changes in this branch. Please save these changes before you move to the other branch. And in this case, what I can do, I don't, if let's say I don't want to add my changes, so I can just stash them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but it seems like there must be a lot of conflict. If I had a lot of changes before, and then I do git pull, I just git stash undo my latest change. So it
It will create a conflict sometime, yes?
yes, won't allow me to.
But that's our job. Our job is to solve conflicts. Sometimes if you try to execute them commanding it will not allow you. It will just tell you, please save your changes. If you want to save your changes, that's good. That's not a problem. You don't need get stashed. But if you don't want to save your changes, you are not ready, you are not finished, you can just stash them. But you will not use get stash a lot. Don't worry. You will not gonna use it a lot.
Get stash is on your local machine. You temporarily save your code and not put your code on the GitHub.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's temporarily saving your latest changes in a place so you can do whatever you want to, and then if you want this change back, just get stash apply. Don't worry, we'll see some example when you work on the group project. We will see some of these examples. I cannot do that now because I am alone. I'm not in a group. Get branch should be fine, stash should be fine, and this one should be fine. Explain what's important to include license. No. What is the license? Can anyone tell me what's the license? What is GitHub license?
Apart from international standards like this, and you can click that and
GitHub license or GitHub license.
license.
So when we create a repository, we could have this. So of course you can read all of that if you want to. We have many different licensing here. The most popular one we are using is MIT. MIT means that anyone, the repo is public, anyone can take this code I wrote and he can reuse it, he can republish it, he can do whatever he wants, that's fine. If that's not what you want to, sometime you have your code, you don't want anyone to use your code, you can use different licensing. So you need to look for different licensing which not allow any user to copy your code or to reuse your code. It's like right reserved. So if you write something you don't want anyone to use it, well, you can make it as a private repo, or you can use a special licensing to not allow people to reuse your code. But for you, don't worry. All our code will be public. Anyone want to use our code, it's fine. That's the reason why we are using MIT. So MIT means it's open source. Anyone can use it. Anyone can modify it. And that's good. Okay, that's licensing. Sorry?
To keep it secret, our big classes is not there.
Again, listen.
We are using MIT for the public one, okay? But
Yeah.
if you want to put our code in secret way, which license is for that?
Well, most companies, they don't want to show their code to other people. That's the reason was we make private repos. But sometimes I want to make my repo public, but I will not allow other user to reuse my code. If that's the case, most of the repos are public, they are open source. But maybe there's some people who do not want other people to reuse their code. That's not popular, by the way. That's not popular. If that's the case, they need to use a specific license, and depending on this license, I can reuse the code or not. But for us, what's important for us, what I want you to understand all the time, we can use MIT. MIT means it's open source, anyone can reuse our code because we are still learning. Okay? Just understand what is licensing, what is MIT. That's it. And here, if I go to license here, as you can see, it will tell me MIT license permission is granted for free of charge. That means it's for free to any person obtaining a copy of this software and associate, blah, 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 blah. So if you can read this licensing, but to make it short, MIT means that anyone can reuse this code. It's fine. Is the idea clear?
How can I change it? Should I change it in?
When you create the repo, there is licensing here.
So just.
You can click on the license and you can choose the license you want to.
Okay.
But for us, all the time we will use MIT.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So when you create the repo, you can change the license according to your needs. That's fine. But for us, we are open source. We allow all people to use our code. It's fine. So we are just using MIT. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So we've seen get stash. We've seen get licensing. What else? Mm, SSH key. Well, we are not using it, but let's just keep it for tomorrow. I need to do something to show you. So let's just keep it for tomorrow. You know how to create a new repo, of course, right? That should be simple. You know how to write the description for the repo? Do you know how to write a description for the repo? Should be simple. So if I go to this repo, for example, here, I can write readme.md and describe in here. And also here I can write about. And in the about here, I can write description here, groups 3, intro, or so it will be like a title of the repo. Also, I can add this link here and it will show me my markdown or readme.md file. If I have index.html, it will show me the index.html. If I don't have index.html, it will show me the readme.md. In this example, because I don't have index.html, it will show me everything inside the readme.md. How can I deploy this repo? So I need to go to setting. I need to go to pages. I need to here. Normally it will not, nothing will be selected. I need to click on that, select main, save. If I do so and I waited a few minutes, GitHub will give me link. If I click on this link, notice it will show me my readme here, as you can see. Voila. So that's how we deploy. That's how we deploy our repo to GitHub pages. Again, I'm telling you, if you don't have index.html, it will deploy the readme.md. But if I have index.html, it will show me whatever inside the index.html. And here, after that, I can copy this one, copy this link, go back to my repo, and go to code, click on this one, and here I can add the website here, as you can see. Well, I will add it here, and I can add some descriptions, and I will save the changes. So that's what you call the repository description. Clear? Turn on GitHub pages. I've just shown you how to turn off GitHub pages. So all you have to do, you need to go to setting. You need to go to pages. You need to choose here from the branches main and save. And after that, if you wait for 1 minute or 2, it will give you this link. And this link allow me to visit or to deploy whatever my repo to GitHub page. Simply like that. Yes, Awesome. So for now, because our projects are not that complex, we can just use GitHub. So GitHub has pages. It can deploy my website if it's only front end. If it's only front end. If it's front end and back end, I cannot deploy it on GitHub pages. So there is a lot of other hosts. For example, Netlify, I can deploy my front end in Netlify. For example, we have something called Render. Render is a service. allow you to deploy your website. It allow you to deploy 4 or 5 for free, and after that you need to pay for them. So you can after that deploy your website in those if you want to be public. But GitHub pages, we use it for only for the front end. If we only have a front end, if we have a back end, it will not work. Cool. That should be okay. Configure your repository to block pushing to main. Do you remember this one? How we can prevent people to push to main? Yeah, I need to protect my master branch or my main branch. How can I protect my main branch? Well, I can just click on this one, go to rules, rule set, and here I can add a new rule set, for example, new branch rule set, and I can give it a name, blah, blah, blah. Then I will come in here, what's the target? I can include the default branch, which is main. Then I can come here and I check this one, pull request, require pull request before merging. So here you will not be able to push your code directly to main. Each time you want to add something to main, you need to create a new branch, make a pull request, and merge it. That's how we protect our main branch.
I can't deploy it myself.
If you are doing it yourself, you don't have to. You can always protect your main branch to prevent yourself also from making mistake. Because sometimes when we code, we are sometimes by mistake I don't know I am on main. I just make changes and I get pushed. If you're not protecting your main, your code is gonna go that.
This right now, I can't.
Protecting your main branch, you can do it individually or you can do it in a group. The idea of protecting your main to prevent pushing from to the main by mistake, because not all the time here when you code and you are really busy like that, sometimes you forget you are on main, and by mistake, let's say you just do git push. If you do not protect your main, the code will be added to main directly, and that's something we should avoid. So always it's a good practice to protect your main branch, even if you are working by yourself. And when you're working by yourself and the project is very complex, you need to create different branches. So let's say I have a website, I have title, I have showcase, I have footer, and like that. I need to divide my code to different issue, and each issue must be in a different branch. So anyway, I need to create different branches. You get the point? But I asked you in the first project, I think, or it was in project 3, I did ask you not to create a branch because it was very small. I mean, it was just some information like that. But later on, the project will be very complex. And if the project is complex, always a good idea to create different branches. Okay. Configure user to block merging. We did this one. Clone the remote repository. You know how to clone the repo. Initialize a new repository locally. I've just shown you. You can just say git init. And then after that, you can create a repo and add your code. Push and pull, you already know. Pull request, you already know. PR template, you already know. Continue integration, locals, remote. So all of that, they are already clear. There's no problem with that. Remote collaboration, I'm going to keep this one and this one for tomorrow, because we already take a lot of time, so we'll keep that for tomorrow. What I want from you to do now, continue working on your group project. Try to make it as nice as possible. If you finish it and you don't have anything to do, what you can do is you can go to home. You can go to workflow. You can go to suggested study. And in suggested study, you can try to practice typing. There is a lot of videos here. And if you have your headset with you, you can click on that, and as you can see.
Pour changer d'air,
That's annoying.
changer de langue en un clic.
So if you click on this one, we have a lot of video explaining a lot of concepts for you. So this guy here explaining VS Code, for example, in detail. A lot of new feature like that. So I told you suggested study is not must, but if you already finished, it's a good idea to go to the suggested study and try to see different videos. Is it? Which one? Yes.
I just send this one minute ago.
Yeah. You can search, there is a lot of
Yeah, but I don't understand how to do this. this one. Sign. So I want to try a video for the company.
What does he want?
Yes, but I found no, I just
Some of them, the link are, I think it's not correct, but that's fine. What you can do here, you can just go to the one who already have a link. And yeah, so you have also some video, you can just spend some time like as you know, those you have there. If the link is not working, just ignore it, go to the next link. But if you want, I can share some nice video with you. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.